75 years since the Warsaw Uprising. Indeed, 75 years ago, this very day, it would have been coming towards its bitter conclusion. It broke out on the 1st of August and continued until the very start of October. So we're entering the 75th anniversary of the end stage of the Rising right at this moment. The Warsaw Uprising, it's in many ways one of the great forgotten tragedies of the Second World War. It's a battle which raged for 63 days from the 1st of August for control of Warsaw, where the Polish resistance tried to liberate the capital before the Red Army got there. It ended in a tragic defeat, but it has a very important and interesting story to tell of the Polish experience of the Second World War. What I'm going to try and do over the course of my talk is tell the story of the Rising from start to finish, but also explain its broader significance, why it's such an important event, as I think by the end of the talk hopefully will become clear. And it's something that, as I said earlier, it's really forgotten, it's overlooked. We focus on the Western experience of the Second World War. We overlook a lot of what happened on the Eastern Front. And this battle is a prime example of that. So I'm half Polish, and my grandfather and my great-grandfather were both involved in the Warsaw Uprising. My grandfather was 12 years old at the time. He was in the Scouts and he was involved in the underground postal service, which kept messages connecting forward positions going throughout the duration of the Rising. His father was actually an officer in the resistance, and his particular responsibility was securing the airdrops that were dropped by Allied pilots over Warsaw during the course of the fighting. I take it as a starting point. This is why I'm interested in the first place, but I'd like to tell a much broader story than just my own personal family connection. Some 200,000 people died as a direct result of the Warsaw Uprising. The scale of devastation is almost incomprehensible. And so my family experience is just one tiny, tiny part of a much, much bigger picture. I think that there are established narratives of World War II which have settled into place, and in some ways it's easier for us not to question how these narratives arose in the first place. But World War II affected an awful lot more people than Western Europe. Particularly on the Eastern Front, the devastation was immense. And we need to start telling the story, whether it be of our own colonial troops in the West or of the Eastern Front's experience, and understand that World War II touched many, many more lives than perhaps our existing narratives suggest.